Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Instinct. Today we're going to be watching a video by James Lawrence McKenna, I believe. And he's going to be explaining why the Premier League feels boring. Let's get straight into it, see what he's got to say.
Are Premier League fans spoilt? That's right. Dynamite conversation coming up. We went all over the place on the podcast this week. If you want to check out the full podcast, a link is in the description. But we discussed football teams, football fans.
Why is he able to discuss football teams and football fans and have the show? Because he's been slowly working on building his subject matter expertise, which is football and the Premier League in particular. And he was able to build a fan base slowly. People saw his rise to the top, and now he's blowing up. He's one of the most successful channels on YouTube on this subject, but it was a slow grind. And that is why I always suggest, if you want the best life possible, if you want the best opportunities, if you want to do something that you're truly passionate about, you need to become a subject matter expert. And what I specialize in is I help people go to royalinstinct.com and mentor people, coach people in becoming a subject matter expert, in making content, in the ability for them to start their journey on building fame. And why is fame important? Fame is important because famous people have the best money at making opportunities. They have the best dating opportunities. They have the best social opportunities. And we are slowly moving away from a world that is lived on Earth and actually lived on the internet. So you might still live on, in whatever country you're from, but you exist on the internet. And on the internet, only people who have a channel, who have a social media platform, who have a following that is large enough to attract and boost their content on the algorithm, because success breeds success, are the ones who are going to be successful. I mean, all the fans, all the people who are watching this guy's content, nobody knows who they are. And you might think, oh, I don't want the limelight. I just want to stay anonymous and work hard in the background and become rich. That's your personal choice. If that's what you want to do, then this is the wrong place for you. Then you can go away and stay anonymous. However, the reason why I advocate for fame is because it's the most potent, most quickest way to the top, to success, to making more money and dating more women. And I'm someone who's tried many different things in life. I worked a corporate job. I started a business. Even if you start a business, for example, you need fame, which is, what is marketing? It's making your brand awareness. It's offering your product to the wider public, which is essentially what fame is. If you're already famous and you start a new company and then you just go onto your social media channel and be like, hey, by the way, I have this new glass of water, that sells for $20, and then let's just imagine I just stick my name on it, Royal Instinct. Here, when you buy it, and if they have a large following, their fans will just buy it just because they came out with it. But if you're a nobody coming out with a product, nobody's going to know about it because nobody's watching your content. So this is the new way of conducting business. Even Elon Musk, he's got several businesses. He's got SpaceX, he's got Tesla, he's got the Boring Company, whatever. I think that went under, actually. Whatever company he decides to open next, he's somebody that's famous, that's just going to use his Twitter to say, oh, by the way, I'm doing this project right now. And people become interested in it just because it's Elon Musk. There's already some fame, some power behind it. If you think, oh, I'm going to be a behind the scenes guy and just, make it without becoming famous, you're never going to make any money. Even if, say if you owned a restaurant in your local town, the way it become famous is from word of mouth within the town. But now we all live globally, right? You're competing against too many people, and word of mouth just doesn't work anymore. You need to get on social media. You need to get onto the internet and become someone famous, someone big on the internet with a large following, because that's who all the money making opportunities can't go to. I mean, just look at Kim Kardashian. She is someone who's famous, and does she date any unfamous people? I mean, the last 10 people she dated were all famous, you know. So this is why men are sexless today. This is why you're going to probably end up a virgin, even if you had relationships in the past. Your girlfriend will leave you for someone famous like that. And it might sound mean, but it's just the fact of the world. It's how the new world works, the post social media world. And if you don't want to get abused by that, if you want to live a good life, and you only have a small opportunity to do this, right? Like you have a small chance to make this happen right now for yourself before AI takes over. Go to rawinstinct.com. I can help you. I can show you how to do this. And if you are sick and tired of living a second class life, then you need to build your fame and enjoy the opportunities that this guy does. And his content isn't even anything great. He just built an audience, and now he's able to monetize it.
And if they are spoilt, and this is what came up. As mid-table Premier League fans, which I'm not, but like generally the idea of mid-table, I wish, right? Yeah. Which is kind of my point, is it's a very weird place to be. Mm-hmm. Like in terms of what are you supposed to dream of? What are you supposed
Okay. This is good. This is gonna be so great. Actually, I randomly chose this because it came up on my feed, but this is gonna really showcase how what I'm talking about is very important. Okay, so you have the Premier League, right? And who's going to win the Premier League each season? Well, it's definitely going to be Man City. It's going to be Liverpool, right? And this season it might be Arsenal. Okay, Arsenal last year they led the Premier League the table for the majority of the season, and then threw it away at the end of the season. This season they could do it. Man City are hot favourites because they always do it, and then Liverpool are there or thereabouts. They're first right now, and they might end up winning. Okay, who else is going to win? Aston Villa, I believe, are in fourth, but nobody's going to give them a chance to win because their rivals, Man City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, are much stronger and richer clubs. Tottenham aren't going to do it. Chelsea aren't going to do it. Man United aren't going to do it. And then, but normally those are the top teams within the country, right? That they're seen as the top teams in the country. Then you have another level below them, like teams like West Ham, Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle have billionaire owners, so they're going to slowly creep up there once they start spending some money. Aston Villa fit into this category. Brentford, teams like that. And then you have the teams at the bottom of the league who are just able to survive. Okay. So you have this hierarchy, right? Team of 20 in the league, but you have this hierarchy, and there's a certain group of people at the top who are expected to win. Man City expected to win. Liverpool and Arsenal are challenging, right? Then you have another mid-table crop who are just going to be there and thereabouts, like the middle class. And then you have all the losers at the bottom who have no chance. No one's ever going to say Sheffield United are going to win the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? They're barely surviving. Burnley, do you know what I mean? They came up. They don't have a fighting chance. They don't have a fighting chance. And you're Burnley in this scenario. You're a team like Everton, and even someone like Everton, if they're trying to get ahead, they get whacked with a points deduction, right? So this is the reality of the situation. For you to reach the top, as Man City did, they spent a lot of money and grew their fame, right? They grew their fame and the status. That's what you need to do. You need to grow your fame and status, get to the top, and that's when you have the opportunity to win. Because if you're at the bottom, if you're just fighting for survival, you're never going to make it to the top. And then like he's going to explain in this section, what can your hopes and aspirations be? You just end up getting the leftovers from the rest of society.
To hope for, Like, as a Fulham fan, how do you feel about, because with Fulham are in like a nice little tidy place,
Yes.
but they've had the sort of critique of you spend 100 million and like, how could you spend 100 million? And then Norwich then go up with you and they go, why haven't they spent 100 million? Like, it's a very weird place to sort of get it right. And it does feel like to me that, and I get it because that's the game, but it comes down to winning and losing
It does. I think we have to remember that.
and expectation.
Going to a football game means different things to different people. For some people, it's about escapism. For others, it's being part of the community. For some, it's just all about the football. You've got to sort of weigh these things up when deciding if fans are.
A lot of the time, football fans don't actually get to choose who they support. If you are privileged enough to choose who you support, you'll be told that you're a glory hunter because you end up choosing the current winning team. So there's a lot of Manchester United supporters who, in the 90s, when they were winning, became Manchester United fans, and now when they're losing, they're not having a great time, but they still stick to that team because you can't switch teams anymore. If you switch teams, you have no meaning. However, a lot of time people support a team because their father supports it or their brother supports it or for whatever reason. That's how people pick football teams. Okay, it's the same thing in the world where you're born. If you're born into a family, a wealthy family, into a famous family, that part is out of your control. But then you have to live with that decision, right? That was made for you. But how do you, if you are someone like at the bottom of the table, how do you rise for a chance to, win the Premier League? And even the teams that are near the top right now. Let's look at Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, and let's throw Manchester United in there. Manchester United was successful in the 90s and 2000s, built a huge global fan base, which they now make. They make the most revenue out of all football clubs in the world. Liverpool was successful in the 70s and 80s, built a huge global fan base, which then they sustained, able to monetize it, and now this is their return back to the top. They had in the 90s and 2000s they weren't there at the top, but now this is their return. Arsenal, they were big in the late 90s and early 2000s, built a huge fan base, stayed at the top, and now this is their resurgence in the last couple of years. Manchester City were the quiet rivals of Manchester United in the town. Nobody knew about them. They had some success in the 60s, but not big enough to build a global fan base from. However, they invested heavily into their infrastructure, into their team, into their players. Ended up spending so much money that they got a world-class coach, won the Premier League, and then off the back of that, slowly kept improving, building their kingdom, right? And then were able to now get the best players, the best manager in the world, and now have had sustained success for the last 5 years, 6 years, and they are currently the best team in the world. And because of this heavy investment at the front and the success that they have, they'll now have built a dynasty, which will see them off for the next at least 20 to 30 years. And that's what you have to do. You have to invest money into yourself to rise to the top, gain success so you can build a foundation, start building a kingdom. And then once you have that success, once you've built that foundation, then you are seen as a king. Otherwise, you'll always be at the bottom if you're not investing in yourself, if you're not improving yourself, your station in life. You are never going to reach the heights of the top. You're never going to win a championship. You're never going to be seen as a winner. And then therefore you're not going to get the spoils of war. You're not going to get all the success that comes with it, all the money making opportunities, all the business deals, all the commercial deals. Other people won't want to support you. Other people would not want to associate with you, and you're not going to have a great dating life. Who I mean, Premier League footballers are rich within itself, like a group, but like, ask any woman where would she want to, what football game does she going to want to go see? Burnley United, Burnley play whoever. Burnley versus Everton or Man City versus Liverpool. Like, what team do you want to go and watch? You know, people are going to go with the more famous team. People are going to go with the more famous people. If you want any enjoyment in life, because we are at a point in the world where the internet is going to make it very hard for people to become successful. AI is coming; it's going to take your jobs. Um, you know, AI is going to destroy so many lives, and people have not realized that what has happened. Like, it is the equivalent of a nuclear bomb going off, but people just don't give two shits. If you understand what I'm trying to say, if you want to live a better life, if you want to have success in life, if you want to be at the top of the table, winning the Premiership, winning the Champions League, then go to royalinstinct.com and I can help you build fame. What I specialize in is helping people figure out what they can be successful at, what they can, how they can turn their passion into the beginning of their journey to being a subject matter expert. And as you document your journey, you'll gain fame, you'll gain money, and then slowly, you build your kingdom. You build the foundations of your kingdom, and then you'll be seen as a king. And then once you have a kingdom, once you are a king, then it's all just about sustaining that success, which is much easier than building it. But you always have me on your side to help you. You will. I'm doing this with 100 people, so there'll be 100 of us networking, 100 kings that are networking together, building businesses together, supporting each other. If you want to be part of that community, if you understand what I'm trying to say, if you want to live that royal life, the luxury life that you've always dreamed of, then go to royalinstinct.com and start building the life of your dreams.
Entitled or whatnot. Like, the interesting thing about Fulham at the moment is they're furious about the ticket price. That's the big kind of complaint at the moment, is we have one of the most expensive ticket prices in the UK. They're charging sort of seniors £60 of certain matches. It's a bit of a disgrace. But the caveat is we play nice football, and it is something aesthetically to enjoy. And it is interesting being a Fulham fan at the moment, because we've had the really kind of tricky yo-yo years, as it were, where we had a big turnover of managers. We tried different things with different managers and
and trying different things is you have to keep trying. You can't give up hope. If you're someone who is watching this and you're depressed, if you're someone who's watching this and you kind of think like, oh, fame doesn't work for me, I will never enjoy a good life, you have to try. You have to try, because that is the warrior inside of you, waiting to unleash. Any king, before he is crowned a king, has to go into battle, and to go into battle you have to be a king. So you have to be a warrior. Genghis Khan was a warrior. Alexander the Great was a warrior. You know, you have to be the king warrior. You have to be able to fight. You have to be able to hope. You have to be able to have that vision of what life could be, of where you want to go. And then it's just getting people to join you in your cause. You know, many people won't understand what I'm trying to do here. You know, when I say things like, oh, you need to be famous, you need to be at the top, people are like, oh, I don't know, that sounds so difficult. All right, if you don't want to be part of that life, if you want to always be, at the bottom, where you have no control over your life, where you are seen by other people as a peasant, where you are seen by other people as a low class, you're not going to have a fun time. You're not going to enjoy life. You're not going to have the opportunities to live a good life. But if you think you deserve better, but never understood how to get it, how to achieve those lofty goals that you might have, it's because you didn't have fame on your side. Okay, you didn't build a following, a big enough reputation. You weren't able to monetize your personality, your passion. If you was able to monetize your passion and make, $1 million a year from it, would you be happy? Would you say you can then start enjoying life, afford all those things that you could never afford, date the people that you want to date, go to luxurious parties with me that I invite you to, obviously. And then the other thing is once you're in those circles, a lot of things are just free because of who you know, right? Like a king like me, will invite you to a luxurious party just because you're my friend. You know, you don't have to pay entry or nothing, no shit like that. So the choice is yours. You know, you can go through a rough period trying different things, but you know, I've tried many different things, thinking, oh, this is going to be, you know, I've tried pick up to improve my dating life. I've tried um, building muscle, you know, doing Muay Thai, which are great hobbies. Muay Thai is still a great hobby of mine, but it's not going to make you ultra confident. Now, oh yeah, now that I know how to fight, I can go into a business setting and make great business decisions. It's like, no, if you have fame, you're going to get all the opportunities that you've ever dreamed of.
Didn't work out, but it's got to a point now, Fulham, where it's quite like an honest team. We've got a few stars in the side. Robinson at left back, Paulinho obviously in central midfield. How long he stays, we don't know. Even Willian really turned up, playing great football. Leno being sort of a standout keeper in the Premier League. We're playing attractive football. We're not winning all the time, but every now and then we have a nice.
Let's
I'd
forward
rather
it
have
up.
the best players in the world coming, having good ownership. It's about having sort of
were in that grateful space for a good few seasons. And coming back to Roy Hodgson and the job he's done overall, I think overall in about 3 years' time or whatever, people will be it you've this has been a springboard or you've dropped. People will look back at Hodgson's time at Palace as really, really strong. But in terms of those different ingredients, how important do you think is style of play for those mid-table teams?
Well, I think this is largely why there is such a degree of apathy towards this season so far, from a Palace fan's point of view, because Roy Hodgson is the absolute definition.
So, just for context, what they're explaining is because there's such a big disparity between the good teams in the league and the other and the less quality teams in the league. The less quality teams have to sacrifice playing attacking football for defensive football, and defensive football isn't great to watch. You should never be in a position where you have to make any sacrifices. You should be in a position where you are on the attack, on the offensive, that you are, because if you're on the offensive, you are actually so confident in your abilities that you're able to impose your personality, yourself onto others. Okay, if you if you don't have fame, you don't have that gravitas, right? So that's why fame is important. You need to be famous, otherwise you will be dominated by other teams or by other personalities.
In many people's minds of stability, the steady hand at the wheel, but the underlying numbers this season have been horrendous. So as soon as that actually disappears, there isn't a great deal left. And if we had slipped out of the Premier League, with the greatest of respect to the Sheffield Uniteds and the Burnleys, with Everton's points deduction, with a potential points deduction for Nottingham Forest, after a decade in the league, if we had gone down, it feels like the biggest wasted opportunity ever, because I'm not suggesting we want to see free-flowing football that sees us qualify for Europe. I think that's
does this person seem like someone that is inspired by the team that he follows? Right, he understands the team that he follows, that he has no decision over. I don't know how he started supporting Crystal Palace or whatever team he supports, but he's not very ambitious. He just wants to see like a good try. He just wants to see some good creativity, some good attacking football. But because of his circumstances, of the team's circumstances, and they're not able to attract the right players to the team because they have a lack of money and a lack of brand recognition or lack of fame to the club, they're not able to do it. If they had more money, they'll be able to attract bigger names, bigger, better players, and then they'll be able to play the type of football that he wants to play. Right. So they need to the real problem is a lack of money right now because they're not able to pay for the good players. Right. Because Manchester United can pay for the good players, even though their team is weak right now. They're not in a good position in the league. But why are they able to do that? Because they have the resources to do it. They've over time built fame. They've over time been able to monetize that fame, that fan base, and therefore were able to attract a lot of money to their club. And they will continue to do that because they've already got that goodwill in the bank. They've built that brand. it might now over time start going down if they don't use it to rebuild their kingdom, right? Because that the Manchester United empire is on its way down, but they still got the funding to rebuild it. How can you, right? So therefore it goes in cycles. It's like you put out content, you make a little bit of money, right? You then reinvest that into making better content, then you make a little bit more money, and then you keep reinvesting it, and you keep doing it, you're growing it, you're building more and more fame, you're attracting more people towards you, you're attracting better business opportunities your way, more social opportunities, more dating opportunities. Having better social opportunities and dating opportunities basically means dating hotter women and having better friends. It will reignite you personally and energize you, so you can then go and make better content with better energy, which will improve your content. People will see the leveling up that you're constantly doing. And as you can see with my hands, it's just never ending cycle that you just keep growing and growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And then one day you die. But around here, we don't die. Our names will live forever. We'll find some sort of AI solution where we can just download our brains onto the internet and then just live in the metaverse. But we'll figure that out once we get there. But yeah, if you want to be part of this never-ending cycle, if you want to be part of this journey for where you start off with nothing and grow and win everything, then go to royalinstinct.com.
Misconception. We just want to see something that actually the fans can get behind.
Let me know, guys. Are Premier League fans spoilt? I think you probably need to state who you support and then say your piece on it. But I think some are, and I think some aren't. But I also think it's a really weird space right now. David Moyes said this, showed his teeth at the weekend. He said, because there's been a lot of discussion over David Moyes for a long time. We've had Nikki from West Ham Fan TV on the podcast just before the Conference League win.
Yeah.
And so obviously a trophy, which is great for them, which is something that David Moyes has got and can use and has used in a quote from the weekend, because obviously West Ham are sort of having an okay season, but aren't playing brilliantly. Henry's shaking his head here. I'll come to you in a sec. Let me just read the quote. So I think they'll, brackets the fans, honestly have to say that it's as good a time as there's been at the club regarding winning a trophy, Conference League, and league positions. Maybe there'll be managers who excite them more, possibly. Here it comes. But the one who's sitting here wins more, he said after a defeat. Now, so first of all, does David Moyes have a point here?
West Ham are a mid-table team who had a small bit of success last year, and now people expecting them to use that success to propel them and go through the growth cycle to reach higher level of fame, more success, so they can attract more quality star players and reinvest into the team and grow and grow and grow, which is what all teams secretly want. They want to be at the top. They want their team to win leagues, Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues. It's no fun losing all the time, right? Like, winning is fun. Winning is contagious. Winning is an aphrodisiac. If you want the best life, you have to decide to become a winner. You have to start winning. You have to build that culture of winning. If you are someone who's sick and tired of losing at life, if you believe that you deserve the best opportunities that life has to offer, the way I would tell you to do it is to find something that you're very passionate about and become a subject matter expert in that field. Grow your fame by making content around that subject daily, and you consistently grow and grow and grow. Once you get to a certain level, you can monetize it. And in my opinion, it takes about 6 months to 12 months. And really, this is your last opportunity to do it. If you don't do it this year, I think AI is going to get too strong for you to compete with. These other companies are working out ways to control the algorithm, to suppress new channels from entering the market, from growing. If you don't want to get left behind, if you want to be seen on the internet, if you want to have the best opportunities that life has to offer, if you don't want to be fighting for survival all the time like these low-end Premier League clubs, then go to royalinstinct.com, join the mentorship, and I can help you achieve the success that you want to achieve, to build the type of fame the type of life that you want. You know, we're here going straight to the top. I'm looking for 100 people to join, who believe that they are royal descent, that they have that royal blood, that they want to be kings. And I can help them build their kingdom. And there'll be 100 of us with kingdoms, the United Nations of Royals, and we can together take charge, and lead humanity to a better tomorrow, a better future. And you know, I don't trust the people who are in charge right now. I don't trust the elites and whatever plan they have for us. So therefore, I'd rather be in control and become a leader myself, become in charge myself, become an elite myself, so I can make better decisions than the current people in charge. If you feel the same way as I do, if you understand what I'm trying to do, go to royalinstinct.com. And until next time, I will see you later.